Hello, electric screwdrivers. They're quite handy. You're probably thinking, oh, what? You only have to like undo some bolts. Anyone who's taken a frame apart, put it back together several times because things keep going wrong, knows that just holding a button in and getting a screw out is much more convenient. And Sequre, those guys that do pretty nice low-cost soldering irons and recently ESCs that are still yet to test properly, have come out with their own electric screwdriver. This is called the ES666, interesting number, and it comes on its own or in this kit form with lots of bits. I've got the kit form and it looks like that. You've got a bunch of bits here. You've got the screwdriver itself, you've got this USB cable, demagnetizer and things. This has its own LED, its own little firmware to do various things. And it's got different options you can actually do with the screwdriver. So let's go into close-up, let's see how this works, and let's screw and unscrew some things. Okay, so if we look inside, here's what we get. This is a link to the manual that doesn't work. I've actually got the manual, so hopefully that'll be sorted out when it actually is available. Got a little USB-C connector there, and all the bits. You've got a good range of bits actually. You've got some hex bits. It looks like maybe 1.5, 2.5, 3. Some little torque drivers, flatheads, crossheads, the little star ones. Yeah, a lot. So let's just grab one of these and put it in so we can see what we're doing. So to turn this on, it is just a little press. Now I've got this how it comes out of the box, and you'll notice it's got some little bits on it. It's got S means censored. It's got the screw, and it's going to sort of show you how it goes. It's A for auto, that's the torque, and that's the power. What censored mean is if you hold the button in and turn it, it will then think it's going a certain direction. So as I turn it, you can hear it go a sort of faster and slower depending how much I'm tilting. So it works out the direction based on when you start, and then how far you turn is how much torque you're going to get. If we put that into practice and actually get something to unscrew, this quad that I still need to rebuild, so I'm just going to take the cover off here as well. Don't need that anymore. If I do that, press my finger on the button and give it a twist, it knows to unscrew it. If I hold it down, go the other way, it screws it back in. Now all of that is settable. For some people are probably saying, oh no, I just want to press up and down buttons. I thought that as well at first, but it's actually quite intuitive once you get used to it, because these little screwdrivers, it actually has the torque rating that it has. It's like 0.2 newtons. So you kind of have to be able to give it a bit of a turn to start. So it's really gets easy. However, because we have this little screen here, we've got options. First off, if we don't want auto torque, and auto is as we do it goes faster, we've got different torque ratings. So if we go to 1, and it goes up to 6 before it loops around again. You can also, if I press these buttons very quickly, 1, 2, 3, you've got, you can set it, well, it disappears instantly. You can set the torque rating there as well if you want to. To get into menu, you have to press this 3 times rapidly. This is the power button. And then you've got your shutdown. It's very good at coming out. Your shutdown time, your mode, your OLED, so you can reverse that if you're left-handed. The light is on or off, and it's very quick to switch off out of the mode. Light, action, which is sort of how, I think it's how sort of fast or rapid it actually turns it. You've got language options. And finally, at the end, you've got the firmware, which is upgradable. So within the mode, you've got sensor, fixed, and auto. So if I change it to fixed, what it then turns into is this button forward, that button backwards. So sort of more normal. You can still do it in combination with things like auto torque. So if I change it back round to auto, you can see it speed up as I turn it and go back the other way. So many people prefer that. I got kind of used to using the torque. You can see the light come on there. They say it's a shadowless light, and if I do that, it works pretty well. The other mode you've got is a kind of a weird one. It's called auto, which I think is the one I would use less. And if we go to auto, the idea is here, if you hold this in for 0.5 seconds, it will just go until you cancel it. Well, it doesn't stop. The idea is it stops when it gets to a certain torque on auto. But it doesn't. Oh, it did eventually, after I held it hard enough. But yeah, auto mode's a little bit weird, I have to admit. I'm pretty actually taken with how sensor mode works, actually. I quite like it, so I'm going to go with that. The setting in here called action, I had to do a quick double take. First I thought it was like the amount of power you had, but it's actually the sensitivity. If you can see, as I press and just rotate, I've got quite good control here. So I can go from quite slowly all the way up to that sort of full, and I've got all that space in between to rotate, and if I rotate far enough, it'll start going backwards. If I change that to min, the difference isn't huge, but you just don't have that sort of all the range there. So if I press and turn, you can't go really slow very easily, because you just need a little turn and it goes full. And if I go backward, forwards. So yeah, I like max because I like having as much control as possible. Like that. So you get a good range of stuff in here. The only thing I've not been able to make sense of is this, which is a magnetizer demagnetizer. You can just see, if I turn it, it says demagnetize at the top, magnetize at the bottom. Now I took that to mean that if I did this, it would magnetize. If I did this, it would demagnetize. If I grab myself a screw, let me just grab this one. You would say that's magnetized, wouldn't you? Because if I can do that, magnetized. So if I go and do this, which I presume is what it wants me to do, rub the little thing over the demagnetize, then it shouldn't pick up, but it does. So, I mean, that actually seems magnetized. And so does that end. So I'm not quite sure where they're going. Unless it's the inside. No, the inside still seems magnetized as well. Is it this bit? Rub, 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 rub. No, I don't know how that works, but I'll try and find out, because at the moment that doesn't seem to do anything. But yeah, it's a nice little set. It just saves a bit of time when you're doing stuff. Obviously, if you then want to turn it off, hold that down 3 seconds and it shuts down. Single press brings it back on again. Quite an impressive little set, and it's got the right sort of screwdriver bits that will suit our hobby. Things like this. Of course, what it won't do is like fix it if it's too tight, if it's too much torque, and it's like, nope, it sort of keeps running out. Well, it's going down, but it keeps stopping, so it's reaching its torque limit, and when you get to the end you will need to give it a screw on its own to make sure it's tight enough. So yeah, that's the little Sequre electric screwdriver kit. As I said, The only thing I can't work out is this magnetizer demagnetizer. I'll have a word with them, and if I can find info I'll stick it down in the description. But the screwdriver I like. I didn't think I'd like the sort of sensing mode where you turn it, but given, as I said, that this hasn't got enough torque to like unscrew tight screws, so you always have to start it to turn off. So being able to hold down the button, give it a squidge, and then it will do the rest. It actually seems quite logical and worthwhile. Yeah, and I like the set. Lots of nice bits. Charge cable, you got the lot. I think it's a pretty good set. Very kindly supplied by Sequre, and there'll be a link down below if you want to check it out in more detail. Hope that's been helpful, and I will catch you next one. Bye for now.
Well, you've made it to the end of the video, so thanks once again for watching. If you like what you saw, then please consider subscribing, and if you really like what you saw, then be sure to check out the link to my blog for a variety of ways in which you can help support this channel.